Welcome to another conversation off the clock. Hi, I'm Carmina Constantino Torres, and this is Casey After Hours.
A few of my friends died because of AIDS. A lot of people are not informed about HIV and AIDS, specifically the treatment. I gave inspiration about life, about living beyond HIV. And that inspired a lot of people. Tapos sabi ng mga doctors, yun lang yun. Yeah, acceptance is the key. Why are we turning a blind eye on these cases, di ba? Kailangan pag-usapan na natin. Even parents, they need to talk about sex and sexual behavior as early as possible.
HIV cases in the Philippines continue to rise. Isipin nyo, kada araw, halos 6 na pong HIV infections ang naitatala, and most of them young, 15 to 24 years old. The numbers are screaming, but our conversations, those remain quiet. Stigma still dictates how we speak, how we ask for help, and how we protect ourselves. And for those who have been doing the work on the ground, making HIV awareness, testing, and support accessible, this fight has never been abstract. It is immediate, urgent, and real. Joining us today, Project Red Ribbon President, Iko Johnson. Iko Johnson in the podcast. Thank you so much for joining us today. It's lovely to see you once again.
Oh, thank you very much, Carmina, for having me in your home. It's actually a very nice home, and I'm very happy to be here.
Thank you, thank you. You and I, we've been talking for many years already. So much has changed, yet so much remained the same.
Yeah.
But before we get into that and the situation and what's happening, talk to us about first Project Red Ribbon and how it started.
Well, Project Red Ribbon started as an advocacy because a few of my friends died because of AIDS. So that's a call for me to take action, to know everything about HIV and AIDS, and to find out how I can help. So it started with a few friends donating because they found out that I'm interested with the advocacy to help other people to live and to survive because if they have AIDS. And we pulled the money and we started giving to different treatment hubs.
But this was like, what, 14 years ago?
That happened in 2011.
Right.
2011.
But hindi ba dapat, Iko, nung mga panahon na yon, we shouldn't have been in that situation already? Kasi at that time, that's already what, 2 decades in. So dapat by 2011, medyo gamay na natin yan. And yet, it still spurred you into action. What
Actually,
does that tell you?
Actually, it's the other way around. Hindi pa natin gamay. Number one, there were a few treatment hubs. A lot of people are not informed about HIV and AIDS, specifically the treatment. Marami pa rin namamatay.
Yun na nga
Increasing yung cases. And people don't know where to go to. That was a problem during that time.
Considering that we had one of, I mean, the information dissemination, di ba, worldwide yan, naalala mo nun? Worldwide, everyone knew about it, everyone knew what to do, but somehow, everything died down. Wala nang nagsasalita. To the point that in 2011, it's as if it was the first time we were hearing about it.
Yeah. Okay. The reason why, when the Philippines started learning about it, the thrust of the HIV program was around sex workers, women sex workers. That was the focus. Because where did HIV come from? So we know for a fact that it came from unprotected sex, di ba? Ang tingin ng government, sino ba yung madalas nakikipag-sex? Mga sex workers. So doon yung thrust nila. Little did they know that it will go to another key population. Ito na yung men having sex with men. So doon yung focus, tapos biglang nalipat to men having sex with men. So parang yung program na parang na-discarrel, you know what I'm saying? Hindi angkop yung direction ng program na lilipat pala ng other population. That's the reason why During 2011, ang dami pa ring hesitations. Even in the educational system at that time, hindi pinag-uusapan yung discrimination, yung stigma, napakalakas. It was very strong that when I started the advocacy, parang ayaw pa rin pag-usapan. Yung parang, if you talk about the advocacy, even though we promoted online, people were hesitant in supporting. Because number one, they feel that I have HIV already. Number two, because those people who are donating and who were donating and supporting were also HIV positive. So they don't want their faces, they don't want to be their names to be attached with the advocacy because they don't want to be linked with something that that there is stigma. We started pushing the advocacy. It started with a small group. We would visit a hospital and then, nakakatawa nga, Carmina, yan eh. Ako at that time, I didn't know everything about HIV and AIDS. Tapos itutulak ka, come on, give a talk. Say something. And then in front of me are people living with HIV from the hospital. We gave food and all. But then, sabi ko, what should I say? Even though I don't know anything about HIV and AIDS, I gave inspiration about life, about living beyond HIV. And that inspired a lot of people. And from that time that I started talking, people got inspired. And then other hospitals invited me to give a talk.
And inspiration matters. Looking outside of the situation that you're in. Syempre, para kang nasa black hole niya, diba? Di ka makatingin sa labas. It matters when you see someone actually still living his life, maximizing his potential. Kasi, tama ba, Iko, kung sasabihin na, usually ang naiisip, number one, na-diagnose ka na, nang tingin ng iba'y nakakadiring sakit.
Right.
Pangalawa, nahiya ka din sa sarili mo, bakit tumantong sa ganito?
Yeah.
Pangatlo, mamamatay ba ako? And that's so much to be dealing with all at the same time.
Right, exactly. No, so there was one time, let me tell you something. No, when we went to the hospital, I went to the inpatients ward, and then some of the doctors of the hospital asked me, why is it, Iko, that these kids are still dying even though we have medicines already? That was way back 2011, 2012, no? Despite of having medicines, nasa hospital na sila. So I got to talk to these kids, syempre yung mga bata, mga youth, no, affected with HIV, nakaratay with pneumonia. And then they told me, nalaman ng nanay ko. And syempre sa hospital natin, you cannot just go to the hospital, get yourself confined without a bantay.
Kasi minor din sila.
Minor din sila. Sabi ng doctor, so how can we help these kids? Ang nakakatuwa dito, Carmina, parang ano lang eh, pinagawa ko lang sila ng love letter. Parang yung parents, so this is the first way or first step for you to deal with the situation. Tell them that you love them.
Yeah.
No matter what happened, no matter who he or she is, tell your kid that you love him or her. And that triggered something. Tapos sabi ng mga doctors, yun lang yun. Yeah, acceptance is the key. And that's the problem. During that time, a lot of people don't know. They don't want to go to the hospital because they're fearful of how people will accept them, even the hospital.
Yeah.
And there were stories before that even hospitals reject people living with HIV. And then when we started on, we did a group counseling. We did hospital visits. We gave stories to the patients. We told them, mabubuhay ka, don't worry. Ngayon nakita mo yung parents mo, mahal ka. Pinakita nila, fight.
Because, Iko, it is not a death sentence.
Not a death sentence if you get treatment fast. Okay? That's a problem. It becomes still a death sentence kung hindi ka umiinom ng gamot. And a lot of people still don't know that up to now. Pero during those times, we have to keep on telling them because the dilemma, even talking about it, Kasi yung self-stigma, that's also a problem. It's not only the stigma around, but you not knowing yourself, understanding about HIV and AIDS, you put stigma in yourself na parang nauna yung takot rather than maranasan mo. So because you have this stigma, you don't want to get treatment, you don't want to get tested, you don't want to go to the hospital and take the medicines or get the medicines. Nauunahan ng takot.
And would you say that that is understandable to a certain point because those that are getting diagnosed are getting younger? Kanina mo pa sinasabi, the kids.
Yeah.
And it's literal the kids.
Yeah.
Because the data show 15 to 24 years old.
Yeah.
Those are babies. Mga bata.
Right. And you can, pwede mong banggain Carmina yan eh. Look at the teen pregnancies. Imagine, no? Pataas ng pataas sa Philippines. And why are we turning a blind eye on these cases, di ba?
Iko, sino dapat ang magpa-test? Ano ba ang, number one, sino ang dapat magpa-test? Number two, meron ba dapat na nararamdaman ng isang tao bago magpa-test? May telltale signs ba? Because maybe someone's watching us right now, di na alam magpapatest ba siya or hindi, pero may nararamdaman siya. What do you tell these people? Ano yung kailangan nilang malaman?
We don't tell just a certain population to get tested. We want everybody to be tested. Okay, like what I mentioned earlier, we want everybody to become advocates because kung hindi ka at risk, but you know somebody who is at risk, then you can tell the experience of the test itself. Okay? So, parang pwede mong sabihin na madali lang magpa-test, very confidential, safe ka. Samahan kita. Then you become an advocate. Sino pa yung pwede magpa-test? Pregnant women. Let's look at how HIV is being transmitted based on the data from the Department of Health. Kasi if they know that they have HIV, the pregnant woman, then she has to take the medicines lang. Then pag uminom siya ng medicine, maganda na kasi yung medicines natin, Carmela, ngayon 3 months pa lang, nagiging undetectable, meaning bumababa na kaagad yung viral load. That's how advanced our medicines are. So pregnant women, kung positive sila, they take the medicines, lalo na kung first trimester, in just 3 months, 6 months, undetectable and they cannot transmit it anymore. Pag nanganak siya, hindi na niya mahawahan.
And it stops right there.
And it stops right there. People who are at risk, okay? People, if you think you are at risk, unprotected sex ka. Unprotected, direct to the point tayo. Condomless sex. Hindi ka gumamit ng condom, magpa-test ka. Those who inject drugs. So, that's another population wherein you can get HIV. Ito yung tatlo kasing, tatlong populations to get HIV. Because sharing of needles can transmit HIV.
Yung sinasabi mo na hindi siya death sentence kung maagapan, kung magpa-test ng maaga. Pero, paano mo naman yun aasahan sa isang 15-year-old? Kahit nga 24 years old pa yan
Right.
Na ang basic instinct at that time, in those ages, ay magkubli, magtago.
Right.
Kasi nga alam kung ano yung pwedeng sabihin, kumbaga hindi pa sila buo. The resolve isn't there yet.
Right.
So how then do you counter that?
Okay. We have a big problem because it's still not in the educational system. Saan ba pumapasok yung youth? Diba? Saan ba sila nandun? Nasa school. So, during those times, 2011 to 2018, still, it's not in the educational system, yung HIV and AIDS.
You
so, kailangan...
You know what they're gonna say.
Yeah, of course.
Ang sasabihin nila, lalagay mo sa education system, you're just teaching the kids to be promiscuous.
That's the problem. If we're thinking about health, then we have to focus on health. It's a way of redirecting HIV and AIDS, not into the behavior, what's the cause of the behavior, but also about how to save these children. If the educational system will think na uh, it's about promiscuity. You know what I'm saying na, no? So, it's all about promiscuity lang, promoting sex behavior. Then, we'll have a problem kasi we have an epidemic right now that we cannot control up to now. And yet, we are basically putting a barrier to what the health system is capable of doing, which is educating about health. Because HIV is not just a behavior, but it's also a health issue. So we need to make sure that people will be educated about that. We are not after that. We are not promoting promiscuity. We are after health.
Can we go to your journey to further underscore the importance of it? The situation that we have now, was it the same situation, or is it the same situation that you had to face when it was your time to go to the center, have yourself tested, and the feeling that you had?
Yeah.
What was going on in your head then?
Okay, so it's quite different now. Number one, because there are a lot of testing facilities, and people are scared because we have a strong law. So they are reminded to make sure that the testing is confidential. Bawal ang chika because you can be penalized for kung marites ka at chinika mo yung HIV status of somebody who's getting tested, then you can be put in jail. It's different from before because the old law had no teeth. Meaning, sige, pwede kang dumaldal pero you don't know where to go to. There are no avenues for redress, for complaints. No? So parang, bahala ka. If a facility would tell you, ikaw na will spread your HIV status, then so, kakalat na lang without any repercussions. So, parang ganon. So, ang lakas talaga ng ganon. So, people are scared to be tested. There's a big difference now because a lot of people, as we educate, especially about the law, a lot of people are getting tested because now they feel that they are safe to go to the testing facility. So, imagine kami sa Project Red Ribbon, sabi ko nga, when will we stop doing this? Kasi parang tayo, ginagawa natin yung role natin. How about the government? Kasi ito, syempre, yung bata noon, matanda na ngayon. Okay, so they know everything about HIV and AIDS. Paano yung bata ngayon? Uulitin mo yung ginagawa mo. So, ulit ka lang ng ulit. So, we need a strong educational system wherein hindi na kami dapat nagtuturo. Dapat yung educational system built-in na, sila na yung nagtuturo, kami follow through lang about the health services. So parang ganon.
Pero Iko, siguro yung iba, I mean, it's a very personal thing to do. You have to face yourself first to be courageous enough to do that test. Kaya home kit man yan or hindi. Tell us about how you were able to go through it and what gave you the courage to face it head on.
The reason why I have to do it is because how can I tell everybody that the testing is very confidential, it's easy, kung hindi ko pa nagawa? So a lot of people, a lot of advocates, especially those who haven't been tested, who we educated, yun yung advice ko. Sabi ko, magpa-test kayo lahat. How can you encourage people to get tested if you haven't experienced it yet? So we developed advocates. No? So sasabihin ng iba, why do I have to get tested? Hindi naman ako at risk.
Ano yung...
Parang ganon.
What do you tell those who, okay, nag-test na sila, and then the test turned out to be positive?
Well, actually, it becomes more personal. No? So I tell them all the experiences that we have had with clients. Even before testing, we tell that already. No? So we tell the client already what's going to happen just in case you turn out to be positive. And are you okay with that? So basically, we preempt it. anong gagawin mo next? Ano yung pwedeng mangyari sa'yo next?
Kasi
And then,
napagdaanan niyo
oo,
na.
napagdaanan namin and we saw everything.
Natakot ka ba when your results came?
Nakakatakot talaga. Kasi, number one, we know that it is a lifelong disease. It doesn't have a cure. So, nakakatakot talaga. Pero, ano yung gugustuhin mo? Matakot ka forever or malaman mo na ngayon?
Kunyari sabihin nila, ikaw yan eh. Iba ako. I'm only 15 years old. Ikaw, you have years of wisdom behind you nung nalaman mo yung sa'yo. Pero kami hindi.
What we do is we make sure that the child, okay, the youth, will join our support group. And they see and they get to talk to other peers of the same age so that they can experience and they can learn from the wisdom of the experience of our clients.
Hindi sila
And
isolated.
Hindi sila isolated. They belong.
Balikan lang natin, Iko, 15 to 24 years old. The age bracket then, when this first came to light, wasn't that young.
Yeah.
Paano humantong na ganyan kabata ang nagkakaroon ng HIV?
Okay, because we don't talk about it. No? Number one, we don't talk about it even though we have an epidemic. Di ba palagi ko sinasabi, Carmina, education starts from home. Kailan pag-usapan na natin? Even parents, they need to talk about sex and sexual behavior as early as possible. Whenever I see it from television, yung mga foreign movies, TV shows, papasok pa lang sa school yung bata, inaabutan na ng condom. Why is it that tayo hindi ganon? We're not open to that.
Because we're conservative, sabihin na iba. That's not
We
us.
are conservative, pero what about our children's health? We have to understand, if we don't talk about it, they're gonna listen to other people, other children who don't know anything about it. Number one, they would go to social media.
Yeah, exactly.
And social media has a big impact.
Okay, let me get into that right now.
But I'm not blaming social
Yeah,
media.
yeah.
It's all about how we extract the information and then we can ask the adults about it, talk about it.
Because when we first started talking, social media and access to internet, medyo hindi pa ganun kalala eh.
Right.
Ngayon kasi, everyone can just go into it. What impact have you seen from social media, the impact that it had on the HIV situation, on the behavior of the youth? May correlation ba?
Yes, definitely, no? Because a lot of people before they would go to books, they would go somewhere else to get the information. Now you can get it in social media or from social media. So there's a big impact right now. Now, because you can access information from social media now, yun yung approach naman ng advocates, organization. So we educate there. We use the platform to educate. So about condoms, about PrEP, about testing and all. We use that. But still, kasi we have, Project Red Ribbon has tawag dito, TikTok account. You can still see a lot of uneducated individuals putting stigma from their comments about, let's say we post something about HIV, you will see that nandun pa rin. Yung naglalaban yung, ay conservative ako, kasalanan nyo yan.
Ayun.
Kasalanan nyo yan. Mamatay na lang kayo. Parang ganito. So there's still some individuals that need to be aware
So
about
social media can be used as a tool
Yeah.
to spread the advocacy. But what about social media getting into the psyche of the youth, making them, go out into the world with less inhibitions and less knowledge, and therefore endangering them as well? May ganun ka bang nakikita na mas mawala ng inhibition ngayon yung mga bata? Sige lang sila ng sige. May ganun din ba?
Yes, may ganun din because in the social media and dating apps, kasi if I am an introvert, okay, a child who is an introvert and has a problem communicating, having interaction with other people, they would go to social media. They would go to to dating apps. Kasi pwede ka kasi magkaroon ng alias.
Oo, ng alternate personality.
Alter. So you can be whoever you want to be. It's a dreamland na parang, I can use myself, I can use a different image, a different picture of me, na parang, ako ganito ako, when in fact, I'm an introvert.
How do you get from there to actually having sex?
Yes, because now you have this image na parang ikaw to, you are portraying somebody who actually you're not. And then you can engage other people. Mas madali mag-communicate kasi walang feelings. You don't have to be shy about yourself kasi nga iba yung image mo. The forming of the relationship comes after having sex. Let's try it out first. Pag okay tayo, then tayo. Example, which is very scary, Carmina. In the dating apps, a lot of people will ask, I don't want to have unprotected sex. Diretso. Payag ka? Pag ikaw si introvert, kailangan mo, you're longing for somebody to prove yourself, your worth, no? Kung maganda, gwapo, papayag sa'yo, okay. That's the problem. Without you thinking, what will happen to me just in case? Ito ang lakas ng loob. You are offering me something na wala ako, that I need badly, then I would accept it. That's the problem. If you would go to the dating apps, meron tayong tinatawag na chemical sex or chemsex. Yun ang nakakatakot, lalo na sa mga youth.
Ano yun?
Chemsex, this is, you basically inject drugs to enhance sex behavior. We talked about being introverts. If you're an introvert and you want to be somebody else, you inject drugs.
And that's happening here in our country?
Yes. So ganito yan. And that's scary. If you will go to dating apps, may mga symbols pa yan. Makikita mo yan rocket ship, makikita mo yan airplane, mga ganon. Meaning, if you want to engage with me, mag-inject ka rin. Parang ganon. So, diretso yun. Chemical sex, because they're sharing needles, that's another route for HIV.
People seem to still think that this concerns only one sector. Sa inyo na yan eh. May advocacy kayo, meron kayong mga groups, solve it on your own. That's not something that I should be dealing with. Hindi naman ako kabahagi ng sektor ninyo. What is the danger in thinking that way?
The danger of that is that you are stigmatizing a certain population, a certain organization, without even thinking that HIV can affect anybody, everybody, at all ages. HIV, there's a life cycle. It starts when the pregnant woman gives birth, and then it ends with death. Okay, so a pregnant woman needs to be educated as early as possible para hindi niya matransmit. Pero pag na-transmit niya, who will take care of the baby? So everybody needs to be involved in taking care of the baby. Pag naging child na siya and youth, then the educational system has to be involved. Or else, ano mangyayari dun sa bata? Stigmatize siya. Pag nagtrabaho siya, okay? So, the DOLE, okay, companies need to be educated. Ibig sabihin, may life cycle yan. Hindi lang porket kami, nasa HIV advocacy, kami lang ang mga ngalaga sa kanila. No, everybody needs to be involved. It has to be everybody. Because saan ba nanggali yung stigma? Di ba nandito sa labas? Hindi pwedeng nandito lang ako sa mundo and then the world is against me. Hindi pwedeng ganon. I have to live with people. I have to live my dream with everyone else. Hindi pwedeng ako lang. Hindi pwedeng ganon. It won't work like that. And that's the big problem.
Iko, we've been talking for years already. The advocacy has been there for years. We have been talking for years already. But beyond that, given the current situation, what is the hope? What is the hope? Hindi naman pwedeng ulit-ulit na lang, ganito pa rin yung pinag-uusapan natin.
To be honest, it's very difficult to answer that because the Philippines has been experiencing dwindling of funds because of Carmina, for the last decade, the Department of Health and the response basically had been supported by developmental partners. Ito yung coming from Global Fund, ito yung mga supplement from USAID, and you know what's going on. So right now, they cut the funding to half already, even though the Department of Health Secretary had said na kaya natin to. Kaya natin to. So it's ito yung nakakatakot na disruption right now. I'm very worried because we are not ready for this disruption to happen at this moment. Now that you're seeing a spike of HIV epidemic, and yet the support is being cut, and our government is saying kaya natin to. So there's a parang hindi sila magtugma eh. Hindi sila magtugma. I'm worried about that. But still, alam mo naman ako, Carmina, no, I'm very hopeful pa din because of all the innovations. Filipinos are resilient. Maybe our government will think, the local government units will think how to fund those gaps na naiwan because the stories are already there. So all we have to do is to make sure that those stories are listened to and put into policies so that we can really fund and continue the program. Hindi natin pwedeng i-exclude yung other innovations of the youth, especially when they're engaging with sex, no? So that forms part of how to address it. And education, it's just education. It's all about normalizing the conversation. We need to normalize the conversation. Yung wala nang takot sa pag-uusap about HIV and AIDS. Enough of yung verbal conversation. Visibility is very important. It's how we see HIV from a different perspective. Kasi when you go to the first world countries, visible yan yung protection. Visible. Dito sa Philippines, saan mo makikita? Saan makikita ng kabataan? Diba? The more that they get exposed to prevention measures, the more that they think na ay wala naman dapat ikatakot dito. At the end of the day, we want to help people and we want people to live and be productive members of society.
Well, Iko, thank you for being so relentless and having these conversations. Thank you for being with us today. Really appreciate it.
And thank you, Carmina, for always being there.
Absolutely. All the time. Thanks again. And that's it for another episode of KC After Hours. You know the drill. Like and subscribe. I'll see you on the next one.